Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc. and I'm here today to bring you the review for One Piece Manga chapter 794. Now, unless I am bugging out, I mean really bugging, this chapter has come out early. As far as I'm concerned, today is Wednesday, right? So if today is Wednesday, then this chapter has come out early. But hey, I am not complaining. Are you complaining? I'm not complaining. Are you? I'm not. Before I go into the review, I just want to say I'm sorry because in my last manga review I messed up. The video was bugging out. I don't know why that was doing that. But most importantly, I didn't read the last page. And by the time I got to found out that I hadn't read the last page, I thought, you know what, I didn't have the time, so I thought, you know what, I might as well just leave it for this week's review. And now I'll just talk about the last page in the beginning of my review. So in the beginning, on the last page of the last chapter, we just have the argument between Akainu and Fujitora. And basically Akainu says, unless you bring me the heads of Luffy and Law, you're not welcome in the Marines no more. And Fujitora responds to this is basically fine. I don't care, fine. Now, I don't know where this is going to go. I am completely baffled because Fujitora is he is new. He's a new character, and if he's not going to be part of the Marines anymore, I don't really see how he can fit into the One Piece story. I don't see him really going off doing his own thing, and I also think it is too early to get rid of him. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. I do think that maybe Akainu will think, maybe he might change his mind and think he was overreacting and therefore let Fujitora stay within the Marines. Or maybe Fujitora will like half-heartedly go after Luffy and Law, but I do still think that Fujitora is still important to the One Piece story, and him leaving the Marines doesn't really work for me, but I still think that he needs to be in One Piece, so I don't really know where that's going to go with that. And that's the last thing I want to say about last chapter. Let's move on to this week's chapter, and this is basically, we get the answer to the question we've been wondering ever since that it was 100% confirmed that Sabo is still alive, and that question is, why didn't you help save your brother? And we do get, when we find this out in this chapter, first Sabo catches up the Straw Hats. He tells them why they haven't heard of him up until now, and then we finally get the answer to the question that we've been asking, and the answer to that question is he had amnesia. Now for me, this works. We see in the chapter that we've seen in this chapter that from the explosion, and we've also seen this big, he's got a fat scar on his eye. So to me, the fact that he suffered some brain damage and caught amnesia, that is a reasonable excuse for me for why he wasn't present at the war. We also find out that yes, he caught amnesia and he didn't remember anything. The only thing that he was adamant about was not being returned to his parents, and which is fine again. So Sabo joined the Revolutionary Army because of his amnesia, and probably then later stayed on just for the fact that he was grateful for G-Dragon for everything that he'd done for him. That's the way I see it anyway. We find out that he gets his memory back when he gets the news of Ace's death after the war, and like just reading it in the newspaper, seeing his picture in the newspaper, that just brought it all home to him. And like he was so depressed that he was unconscious for 3 days. That shows the depth of his depression. Like he was so upset that he cried and then he passed out and he was out for 3 days. That is some serious depression if you think about it. But when he finally does like regain consciousness, like he remembers everything, because Koala and Hack were worried that now that he's got his memories back, he would leave the Revolutionary Army, but that was not the case. The only thing that he was adamant about was that he was the one that he was the one that he needed to get the Mera no Mi. He was accepting it. He was accepting nobody else having the powers of the Mera no Mi except him. He wouldn't even accept Luffy to have it. That's how adamant he was about getting the powers of the Mera no Mi. And for this, he requested Dragon's help and the Revolutionaries' help to just find it, and that explains why he was on Dressrosa at this time. Just to almost end off the chapter, we get to see the reaction between Sabo and Luffy meeting again after so long, but this is more on Sabo's perspective, and we also get to fill in the gaps of what happened, because if you remember the chapter when this happened, we just see Luffy tear up, and then we see Luffy escaped from the Colosseum. We don't get to see what happens in between that, but in this chapter we do, and we just basically get to see the reaction between them. Sabo's convincing Luffy that it's him, just a whole load of tears on Luffy's part, which you can understand. Man thought his brother was dead, but he's not, and he just bear tearing up, and that bit ends with Sabo just asking Luffy, "Can I have the Mera no Mi?" And Luffy's like, "Of course, that's for the best. I think you should have it." The rest of the chapter is just Sabo saying goodbye. He said because he just came there to see Luffy's face one more time, and he did that. He does give Zoro a Vera card for Luffy, which he has broken piece of, so if Luffy's ever in danger, he will know via the Vera card. And then yeah, he's just off. He says to the Straw Hats, "Make sure you look after my brother." Then he's off. And now Sabo leaves. On the last page, Sabo is talking to someone, and he's flying on some black birds, black crows, black whatever you want to call them. He flies off of them, and he's talking to them, and he's talking to these birds. And I'm thinking, who are you talking to? Like, what's going on with these? What's going on with these black birds? Who are you talking to, Sabo? Like, what's going on? So I think we've got an important character there. Something's going on there with those black birds. Now, there's many of these black birds, so I don't think it's a devil fruit power ability, simply because there's just there's a flock of them. If it was just one, I would have said, yeah, okay, someone has transformed into these black birds. But something is going on with these black birds, and I'm thinking, what is going on there? But that is how the chapter ends. Some other stuff that did come out of the chapter that I probably should have mentioned earlier is that we find out how Sabo he's leaving the island like now ASAP, because we find out that CP0 is on their way back, and they're going to be there within 1 to 2 days. And Sabo recommended to them that they should leave soon as well, because obviously they're coming, and he says that Dressrosa is going to become hectic. My concern with the fact that they're still there is either they have forgotten that Sanji was going to take on Big Mom, or they are really, really confident that Sanji is fine. Now, Sanji's fine, keep the best. I told you, if you haven't already, check out my prediction for the next arc, which will be here, annotation. Now, so far, in my prediction, I've been wrong, because I thought Luffy and Sabo was actually going to talk, but they're not going to get to talk. So far I've been wrong, but let's see if I'm right in the rest of what I said. So if you haven't already, go check that out. And I don't think there's nothing else that I wanted to say, so I'm going to give my rating and then call it a day. It was nice to finally find out what happened to Sabo and why he wasn't present at the war. It was believable. I liked it. This chapter was emotional, just to get to see things from Sabo's perspective and just to find out what he went through. So for that reasons, I'm going to give this chapter a 4-star rating. And like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day. I knew as I was wrapping up the video that there was something that I was forgetting to mention. And as I was saying my goodbyes, I was trying to remember it. And it's not only until I locked off the camera that I remembered it. Now, just in case you missed it, One Piece is going on hiatus next week, so that means no chapter of One Piece next week. So just to compensate that, I might do another One Piece discussion video. I don't know what it'll be about yet, but I'll do that just so that there's something One Piece related coming out on my channel next week, and just something to fill the void really. So yeah, unfortunately guys, no One Piece next week, but on the plus side there'll be something One Piece related from my channel. So take care, have a nice day.